I'm Isabella Rose Davey, and I'm the COO of Copenhagen Fashion Week. So, like many careers in the fashion industry, I started on the retail floor with my first retail job when I was 15 years old, carrying me through a range of other positions to my degree at Trinity College, where I studied art history and classics. From there, I relocated to London, where I got a job at the British Fashion Council, where I was heading up emerging designer relations and also our talent initiatives. So really getting a bird's eye view into the British fashion landscape from an emerging designer perspective, looking at various different aspects, and by the end of it, working with the head of government relations and exploring ways that we could support emerging designers on a far more impactful level, looking at a talent tunnel that we called it, looking at which explored both the impact of education onto apprenticeships, to emerging designer establishments, to also the growth of businesses at their various levels. From there, I went in-house into a jewelry brand, and from there I was freelancing for a while, consulting for a number of organizations ranging from the beauty, arts, culture industries. And then from there, I was then relocated over to Copenhagen. Alongside all of this, I've been consulting for a number of organizations, as well as writing for a number of publications as well too. Writing has always been a passion of mine and something that I've continued to focus on alongside the work that I do, and in turn has been able to allow me to quench my curiosity of sorts in so many different fields and continue to open my eyes to the incredible scene that the creative landscape can represent. I was relocated from London for a role that I'm no longer in now. It was for a different position in-house with a brand. From that position, I went on to become the editor of ArchJournal at the leading Nordic architecture and design publication. From there, I then went into Copenhagen Fashion Week as a consultant. It was the first summer of COVID, when none of us knew really how to do our jobs in the digital landscape. So I came on board to advise about how could we cultivate presence, community, and culture within a digital mindset, which then led me to become head of communications and digital for the organization, growing into a director role. I then covered the CEO while she was on maternity leave, so doing an interim CEO role. And when she returned, I became the COO, working really closely with her in our international growth. Absolutely. I think Ireland has taught me so much. It's very much a frame of mind. I think as much as a work ethic, a personality trait almost. I think so fondly about my childhood in Dolphins Barn. It was an incredible place to grow up. So in the city, also the people, the mindsets, the outlooks, and also this incredible sense of community. It's a word that's wildly overused, I think, in today's term, but actually authenticity and community had honest meaning from living in Ireland. It's somewhere I'm still very much connected with. I return a lot for my friends, my family living there. But I think there's a lot to be said for what you can take from living and being part of the Irish community. They're incredibly supportive of those and proud of those that have made it in various industries. I've been lucky enough to have been featured in numerous national newspapers as a leader of my industry. And I really appreciate that recognition and that continued connection that they also build. I've gone back and lectured at NCAD and DIT numerous times over the years. So in turn, I think what also Ireland fosters is a desire to remain connected as well, which I think is equally important. There's a responsibility on both ends to build the web, but in turn, there's also a responsibility on those that choose to leave to also remain connected in their own way. For such a small island, it's incredibly powerful, potent, and has wide reach in so many different industries. And I think if there could be a focus more on building those bridges and networks even further, then something really incredibly exciting could happen both on home turf in Ireland as much as abroad. Yeah, so it's an incredibly exciting role. I've been in the organization now for 5 years. Before that, I was at the British Fashion Council, so my knowledge of a Fashion Week organization is somewhat unique. I don't know anyone else that's worked at 2 fashion weeks or councils. So I was able to bring a knowledge of an incredibly established organization to an adapting, newly formed, in a sense, organization. When I joined Copenhagen Fashion, it was 15 years back in 2020. When I came on board, we're moving towards our 20-year anniversary next year. And within that, I've been really focusing on both our international presence, but as much as strengthening our Nordic representation. We really want to be the satellite city for the Nordics. There's an incredible creative landscape here that also needs to be nurtured and grown as much as celebrated. But more than that, we also want to lift fashion to be recognized as a cultural phenomena and part of the wider art circle. Fashion, design, architecture, food, music, they're all so entwined, and we need to celebrate that. We can't live in silos in our artistic or creative fields. We must find those connections. Collaboration will be our main currency of the future, and that's something that we put a huge focus on, and is something that's very much driven me to continue to grow the organization as best as I can.